What's up, guys and gals? It is time for the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 248, How to a God, right? I like the chapter. Let's just say that. I always say that it'll be a short review and then it ends up being 25 minutes long, but I think this one will be relatively short because we can go through it, but suffice it to say, it's very straightforward and yeah, it's just a good chapter. I know a lot of the fan base will probably be disappointed, but once again, I have learned my lesson. I just don't read the comments until I've read the chapter and review it because I find that influences. It used to do it in a positive way, that's why I did it, but now it influences my reviews and my opinions in a negative way. And half the time, 10 minutes of review becomes a rant about how people just drop the series if you're not enjoying. Simple as that, right? But I know that some people are going to be mad about this. I know that because even though I haven't read the prequel manga, as it's known, the Fist of the Seeker, since I haven't read that, but I do know enough about it from talking to other Kengan fans that a lot of people were expecting a Fist of the Seeker character to be introduced here. I'm sure this, I forget what his name is, but it's some guy that apparently is stronger than Kuroki, stronger than everybody. He's the top of the verse in Fist of the Seeker, so technically still top of the verse in the Kengan universe and that kind of idea, right? But that person does not introduce this chapter, so it's probably disappointing any Fist of the Seeker fans, and some people aren't going to like the joke, quote-unquote, of this chapter. I do. I like this for a lot of reasons, but we'll get into that. Let's talk about the first half of the chapter, which is pretty much the Kengan Association members meet up. Even Kengan Association member plus fighter Rahito's there, who offers to fight in the Kengan match, and they're all just sort of shooting him down. Yamagohan gives him a little bit of praise, saying, well, technically the Razor's Edge would work if you could actually get off a couple of Razor's Edges on Shen. Likely he would bleed out from it. I mean, he still made, as they point out, he's still made of flesh. He's still human flesh and blood and bone. So if you did cut him, and it was deep enough, and, he wasn't tended to in time, he would technically bleed out. It would work, but it only works on paper, as pointed out, in that it would just, he would never let him hit him. He just wouldn't be able to hit him, and I'm sure he can use something like Indestructible or some type of equivalent of that, or, so whatever. Either way, it's an idea, but it's thrown out. So it's all the Kengan Association members meeting together. They assume that everything they're going to be talked about is going to be leaked to the enemy, so it doesn't matter where they meet. They meet in a pub. They meet in a place that Katahara likes to frequent and stuff, right? So they bring up different ideas and stuff like, we need to carefully, it's like, well, what are we going to do to him? Shoot him? Stab him? Poison him? No. We need to think calm and creativity. And if none of that works, we'll shoot him, stab him, or poison him, right? But they do throw all that away. I'm surprised Dr. Hanafusu is not brought up in this conversation and stuff, because he would be the one to actually make this work. However, because they don't really know about the Mukaku stuff as far as we know. However, that being the case, I think that would sort of violate the ideas, because they bring that up. It's like, even if we tried to assassinate him, snipe him, poison him, whatever, that would sort of break the idea of the Kengan match being on the up and up. Even for underground kill or be killed fighting, there is honor among thieves sort of idea, and they're just like, yeah, no, they'll still launch the nukes and stuff like that. If we play dirty, if we play underhanded and like that so blatantly, they are still gonna, it's not gonna count, and even if we're successful, the nukes, right? So there is that. That being the case, going forward, they do bring up something that I didn't really consider. Reno and her Queen Bee ability. And this ability has been used in manga many, many times. It was used in Toriko specifically as the Queen Bee idea. Boa Hancock's Devil Fruit is the same idea from One Piece and stuff. It's a similar idea, right? Though something's brought up that's sort of kind of, I'm like, okay, maybe. She brings it up and basically says something that I sort of disagree with, I guess, to a degree, but you can make an argument for it. What she says is that people without sexual attraction to women, or very low sexual attraction to women, and non-men, specifically women, right? Because if they're not men, kind of women, right? So she basically says anybody, basically women, will be way harder to resist this idea because they're not sexually attracted, they're the same gender, all this stuff, right? And the fact of the matter is, what's funny about this is that it showcases people that have been sexually attracted to her before. Now, you could make the argument that, okay, they are non-men, but they are sexually attracted to women. You could make the argument that the women that have been sort of, that we've seen them, because she says, not that it won't work, but they'll have a much higher resistance to it. You could make the argument that maybe deep down maybe they're bisexual or something like that. You could make that argument, right? So it's possible, but it's just funny to me that they're showcasing a couple of the women that I'm pretty sure have shown to be affected by her ability, and I didn't really notice much resistance there. But once again, you could just make the argument, oh, but they're bisexual, so that's sort of that's once again, they're not men, but they are attracted to women, so it's a non-issue, that kind of idea. So she brings this all up and stuff, and once again, the queen bee ability is very much, it's sort of utilizing, like, it takes the male ego, it takes male hormones, it takes all that. It's basically replacing the idea of a patriarchy with a matriarchy, right? So feminists are going to love this ability. They're going to love the queen bee ability, right? But fact is, it is a legitimate theory. I haven't heard anybody bring this up, and I went, you know what? Not a bad idea. However, they immediately sort of shoot it down because Reno has said, she was there, and she said, once again, my ability works on men with sexual desire. In the same sort of vein that Luffy is not affected by Boa Hancock, it's the same sort of idea. She basically says that Shen, doesn't have any, I didn't notice a sex drive from him. He was more like, basically, to sum it all up, it's like, Shen is not so much a man. He's so tall, he's so grandiose, that he's a goddamn sycamore fucking tree. He's a plant. He's a Venusaur. It's like, okay. All right. It's very weird. Though, funnily enough, you could make the argument that this is sort of a circle of life thing because he is sort of in that vein. Like, he's still alive and stuff, but he's so close to, it's like he's thousands of years old like a tree and stuff. And of course, we're going on the idea that he spreads his consciousness and he's much older than he appears and blah, 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 and all the mystical stuff. But it sort of reminds me of the circle of life idea, When we die, our bodies become the grass, the antelope eat the grass sort of idea. The human body eventually decomposes and does feed into the earth. So, I mean, once again, the greatest animated film of all time, still taking us back to school so many decades later, right? Circle of Life, it's still relevant no matter where you go. But yeah, it is brought up. I never considered that, and it's probably one of the most interesting parts of this chapter because I didn't see anybody bring up the Reno idea. But it's basically shot down saying that he's kind of like a Luffy. Like, if he does have sexual desire, it's not something I'm able to tap into, and at best, I would weaken him only to a certain degree, and it wouldn't. She's basically saying, like, yeah, maybe I could weaken him by 10%. But I don't even know if I could do that much. I certainly won't be able to control him. I certainly won't be able to full-blown use my ability on him. And there's no way it won't even work at half-mast, right? So, pun not intended. So, either way, that's the case there. Then we move on to Plan A. Now, this is where they're talking about Plan A, and it's all about Joji. And we see Joji here looking all good and stuff. And they're basically, we have Kaede and Koga and stuff. We finally see Koga again. And they're basically saying, like, look, we've gotten permission. We know you're not supposed to fight in Kengan match, but we have an exception here because this is, like, world-level stuff. So we have an exception. You can fight if you're good with it. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. First off, my creed, all this stuff, it will not allow me to. Second off, you don't want me to fight him. You want me to kill him. I don't kill people. I fight people. I don't kill people. It's probably part of the reason he's not part of the Kengan stuff. And they immediately bring up, like, we really need you to do so, though, because it's our only method to the madness. Now, granted, I still say, hey, you still have a chance with Kuroki here. He did damage the connector, and neither one of them went all out. But I'm surprised no one brought up Kuroki there as a possibility. But once again, the Joji idea is, of course, definitely better than the Kuroki idea for the sole purpose why they're there. he freely admitted, and there were cameras and audio and everything, I don't want to hurt you. I would find it very difficult to punch you, so you're my friend, I don't think I would hurt you. So, and he freely admits, you're probably the only person here that would actually have a chance of beating me because I really don't think I could raise my fist to you. And Joe basically says the same sentiment back to Jackie, and that's the end of that. So it's like, okay, cool, right? But he's like, yeah, no. Yeah, it's like, that might be the case, but you don't want me to beat him. You want me to kill him, and I ain't killing my... First off, I'm not killing anybody. Second off, I'm not killing my friend either. So, forget it. Now, when they beg him and stuff like that, he says, well, do you want me to introduce you to a guy who has probably the answers on how to beat him? And they're like, yeah, of course. And this is where probably everyone got excited. All the Fist of the Seeker people, they all got super excited. And they went through and they basically said, yeah, well, we can go to this diner, we can meet this person, you know, and you can ask him as many questions as you want. As long as you take killing him off the table, you know, this guy might be it. And I assumed a lot of people thought that it would be a Fist of the Seeker character, whether it's that super strong guy that everybody's been praising. I always forget his name. Or somebody else from Fist of the Seeker or something. But no. Who shows up? It's a bit of a troll thing, but it's Jackie. Shen shows up and he's like, hey, Joe, you called me and stuff? And he's in casual wear. He's like, and he looks like happy but surprised. He's like, wait, I get to hang out with my buddy again? This isn't the end of our friendship? This is awesome because I'm telling you, they have the best. They've called each other brothers once or twice in the series and stuff like that. He's better friends with him than Yan immediately. Like, this is his best friend. So Jackie's sort of like happily there. He's like, oh, you were looking for me? I'm here. What do you want, Joe? And he's like, hey, Jackie, sorry to drag you out like this. So that whole, like, goodbye thing, it was like, once again, guys get over things way quicker. Like, guys don't really hold grudges as much as women do in that regard when it comes to that stuff. It's like, yeah, we're on opposite sides of this, but maybe we can put that aside and still hang out and stuff as long as we're not dealing with blah, blah. But Joji freely just says, yeah, these guys want to know how the hell to beat you, so how are we supposed to defeat you? So, horse's mouth. Let's hear it from the horse. And that's the chapter. And you know what? Once again, Shen would freely, I'm sure he's going to give out the information. He's really going to give that out and stuff. So this will be a super interesting 249. I don't want to leave the diner. I want Shen and Joji just chatting and shooting the shit, but I want Shen to actually answer honestly and be like, well, there's this and this. Maybe he'll bring up the karaoke thing. Maybe he'll bring up something like, maybe he'll talk more about the fundamentals of principles and how to obtain that level, because we know that that's basically where Shen has reached. That's what Kuroki has been striving for since the beginning of the series. So there's another option there. Or will Agito reach it? Can Ulma reach it? Maybe he'll say why certain people will never be able to get there. Maybe it takes too long, too many decades to reach that level, and that's why he keeps pushing his consciousness. Who knows? So either way, I really like the chapter. I know some people are going to find it a bit of a troll idea, but I love the chapter for the sole purpose that they brought up a theory that I didn't see anybody bring up and that I thought was really cool. Can Reno's ability affect Shen? Apparently not, or if it does, it's going to be so minuscule it's not going to matter. Alright, so it's brought up but shot down. Cool. And the other thing is that Joji and Jackie are still best bros. I like it. I love it. That means we get more of their drinking buddy shenanigans. Or if we don't, like, come on, you got to do that. You got to do it. We got to see more of that. That's going to be absolutely epic. So, but yeah, that's my take on the chapter. I really liked it. I think I stretched that out long enough for a decent enough review. So, and I think I covered every damn basis other than literally reading the chapter panel by panel. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys back here for chapter 249. I am looking forward to it because I think that this, seeing Joe and Jackie back together again, I mean, what more could you want from a Kengan chapter? So, when we thought they were going to be on the outs, right? They're going to be on the outs for a while. But once again, guys can usually, unless it's when this is kind of world ending, but they're sort of like, well, we're not fighting today, so, you know. So, yeah, either way, I liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys back here for chapter 249 for Kengan Omega. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Sayonara.